So good evening everybody, welcome to the Donny Chain Gang with me, Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of the action on Bonfire Night. Great to be back after a cracking Donny Chain Gang that we managed to broadcast out on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. Great to be back with everybody once again. We're back in London, of course, because it is Bonfire Night, and let's face it, it's all based around the events, based around the Houses of Parliament, and we're going to be heading around there with, of course, the one and only Russ Downing. So let's give Russ a bell and let's see what he's been up to out there. I think he's been a little bit of ornithology.
For a time, not any worse.
Were you mid-text by any chance?
No, I was just turning my volume up on the speaker. I was like, no, I better turn it back down, else we'll have a massive echo.
Echo. Indeed we would. We would indeed. And I understand you've been out bird watching today. That's been your latest hobby, is it?
Just research really. And seeing how it should be done.
Well, it did look very impressive.
As you see, there's always someone who steps out of line and gets dragged back in. No, joking apart, I was just in the kitchen doing a bit. I thought, what's that bloody noise? Goes outside, and there it is, the old geese gang.
Indeed, the geese. Yeah, the Donny Geese Gang on its way through, and they were motoring. And tonight we're hoping for a little bit more of a steadier pace than the start of Tuesday, aren't we?
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's like I say, if those geese were going in the DONNYCHAINGANG, they've gone the wrong way. They were going north, really, so they needed to be heading south into the big smoke, and yeah, that's where we are now. We're just, I see, where do we actually start in this, you know? I know we're a few K out of town, but like the velodrome.
It's near, it's technically, it's just round the corner from the Tower of London, so you're actually facing the tower. You'd be in the city, you'd not be far from Pudding Lane, which is where the Great Fire of London started, in fact. Is just round the corner from where you are. So yeah, you are opposite HMS Belfast. You've got the Tower Bridge in front of you, but you're going to do the right hand turn along the embankment. Not that I know London very well, but well enough.
You know London Swift very well, by the time.
I have a sad memory that means I can remember maps and draw them for ages. It was no use at school. I was rubbish at school, but it's great for learning every course on Zwift just about and remembering where they go. Fortunately, we've got some maps for everybody who's going to be watching with the profile from VeloViewer, and of course we've got a classic with the Greater London Flat, and it's good to see a number of our Halo winners are back with us tonight, and in the shape of, I think George is back and Gail, the two big prize winners, but also I think Maddie's back with us. Sonia, I think, is here, along with Mr. Lightfoot and, of course, Alan Parsons. They all seem to have been well received. Yeah,
it's Halo have really backed this from the start, and they're loving it. You know, I was on the phone to Jordan earlier, and he noticed what George had done over the weekend, and he said, "Oh, if you guys don't give him a prize, I'm going to give him one for the effort there." So, you know, absolutely chapeau there, and what a ride at that age. I hope he's recovered. That's all I can say.
Yes, he's got every good reason to take it steady and just sit at the back and play the beacon. But he does usually roll backwards and forwards and bring people forwards. And when we were talking about who do we award it to, I mean, his efforts prior to the evening of going back. I mean, remember, he's only 38 kilos. So that's less than half my body weight. So on the flat, he really is having to motor to generate the watts to get him moving smoothly, isn't he?
Yeah, I just hope he hasn't got one of these Wahoo Edward fans, because that'll blow him backwards out of the garage. It's like a paper bag in the wind there. But yeah, he's always, you know, he's 12-year-old. He's got something going about him, you know. He's messaging me early, you know, thanks and all this, and he was looking forward to the gang, and he does go backwards and forwards, and he's got age on his side, doesn't he? So yeah, he should use some of that energy up wisely.
Definitely, and hopefully going to be an interesting chain gang. I know we're going to be covering from the Red Beacon to yourself for most of the start of the ride, and no further really than you, I don't think, unless there's a little bit of a bunch around you. But we're certainly not going to be going very far in front of the yellow beacon with the coverage.
No, they say once you stay around me, and then they'll get some TV time. And if I'm out the back, just come out the back with me and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
you get to see the sights.
Jake Wormersley's just jumped on. I was talking to him, regarding Brian's birthday the other day, and he said he couldn't make it the other day, and he had to go around and see his granddad. But he said I'll try and make tonight, and he's just chirped on. He said I told you I'd make it, Russ. So yeah, welcome,
excellent.
Jakey.
Excellent, and of course, good to see him on here, and good to see everybody starting to use the donate button as well. It's been really great to see all the support that we've had for the Chain Gang, and I know a lot of people initially hit it before we even got the button rolling, and has helped us, and we're already investing that back in again into the coverage, into what we're able to do with the Chain Gang and the work that we do with this. So thank you everybody for doing that, and hopefully that's going to continue. And I think I better let you continue onto the circuit and get some orders drilled out there.
Yeah, and like I said, look forward to it tonight. And those donations have been great. I've just so there's that many to mention, but I was talking to Cam Fraser earlier, and he's he's just loving the donation. And Cam actually he does the same as George, comes backwards and forwards. So yeah, thanks to Cam Fraser and everybody else who's donated. It's been greatly received, and we're gonna put some good things on over the winter for sure.
Yep, and keep everybody together. That's what we want to do. So fantastic stuff. We are going to keep rocking onwards, and we will dial in the course. So we'll let you get to it, Russ, and let's crack on with showing everybody where we're heading tonight if you haven't been there already. See you later, Russ. So thanks, Russ, and we're going to go straight into the course details. So let's get diving in there and show everybody what we've got in store tonight. So first of all, we're back in London, and we are heading to the Greater London Flat. Greater London Flat is our go-to circuit on a Thursday, it has to be said, and that's partly because this is what it gives us. It gives us a nice lead in 5.7 kilometres of circuit in where we roll along the embankment. It is quite rolling, so it doesn't mean people need to keep the pace down. We've got to keep the speed down and keep everybody together. Once we get onto the circuit, we're going to do 3 laps of the circuit. It's 11.6k, which is 34.8k, and a total of 40.5 when we hit the line. Our riders are just starting to hit the circuit, and as they go out onto the circuit, we're going to let them group up first of all before we go rolling our way around the bunch. Now, the 3 laps we're going to go onto the circuit, the leading is going to be 2 watts per kilo or less. We are going to do the circuit for the first lap at 2.5 watts per kilo. We're going to do 3.5 watts per kilo for the second lap, and then at some point there's going to be the go 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 signal, and it will be on. Tonight's coverage all the way into the last lap is going to be somewhere between the yellow beacon and the red beacon at the back, and we'll be bringing you those details. Now, if you haven't seen the map of the circuit, you need to go onto Zwift Insider. So let's show you Zwift Insider and show you the map and exactly what that looks like. So the red circuit is the lead in through the sprint on the mile, and then we go counterclockwise all the way around, clockwise all the way around the circuit, clockwise around the circuit, around the loop, and then a sharp right turn into the sprint. So along the embankment, round part of the classic course into the mile, and then it is the black loop all the way around the riverside, back up onto the circuit proper, and before heading out and round. Now, it is a relatively flat circuit, but let's show you what the actual main part of that circuit looks like. This is the critical part. This is what you need to see, because this is exactly where the circuit is made. This is exactly how it's going to play out. Flat section around the river is the D, the lower D on its side, directly below you. And this, of course, brought to you by fellow viewer. I want to say a massive thank you to the guys at VeloView. I know Ben from VeloView is on with us tonight. They are absolutely superb. This is a tool that is used by absolutely everybody in the professional peloton, and they are definitely some of the most important graphics you're going to see. The hills, the gradient. Now, the big dip that you can see towards the top of your screen, there are two dips. There's a shallow dip, that's the underpass, and then it is going to be the circuit. From the underpass, you climb out up towards the high point of the course. You can see those slight yellow sections as the gradient picks up over 4%, and then going down back into the mile. Now, let's see what's happening out on circuit. We are with Charlie Babbitt. Charlie out on the course as the red beacon. So the beacon is up and running, so let's get in with the beacon here, and you can see just rolling along the circuit. Remember, it's meant to be 2 watts per kilo. We do have Charlie at the back just rolling it through at 2.5 watts per kilo. So we can see he is rolling along nicely. He's on that red section, of course, and Charlie is the key man, who is our red beacon. 13 seconds down on Mr. Dobson. I think we're going to take a double check where Mr. Sharp is at the minute. So Sharpie is out on circuit as well, and this is just at the back of the circuit. Remember, it's 2 watts per kilo, guys, and we will only be running from the back of the red beacon up to the yellow beacon of Russ on the coverage. So if you're at the front waving at everybody, don't bother, guys. If you are motoring, we will turn around and name and shame. It's dead easy. Now, remember, guys, some people aren't going to be able to see the messages. Some people are not going to have the same smart turbos. We've got nearly 250 riders on tonight, so it is going to be busy. So as we watch Sharp trying to make his way back on, he's got Dobson for company. Let's dive in to the Downey Cycling Donny Chain Gang proper, and let's see how the guys are getting on in there. So here we go. It is bonfire night, and great to see so many people on the Chain Gang. Looks like Charlie Babbitt kicking out 4.5 watts per kilo, trying to get to the back of the group. Our red beacon, and Charlie doing a great job here on the back, just rolling those deep rims on his way through. Let's keep our eyes on Charlie and see what that time gap is. 7 seconds up the road is Sharp, 10 is Dobson, 16 is the bunch, and it looks to me like Mr. Skubala is up in action. So let's jump in with Tom, and we're going to take a little bit of a look. Remember, the camera's all the way up from the red beacon right the way through to the riders on the front. It looks like Dobson here having to put in a big old sprint to get onto the group here. You can see we're going to take a little bit of a look, watch him on his way up here. Dobson just coming in. Looks like a drop out for Maddie Smith there, so power drop out for Maddie. She'll need to drop out, rejoin the group. So it looks like power and outage for Maddie on the way through. So we're going to just take a little bit of score around now. Dobson's just coming past Skubala. Skubala needs to pick this pace up. Remember, these guys are doing 3.5 watts per kilo to try and get on to the group. And we're just keeping an eye on Dobson at the moment. Charlie Babbitt is our man at the back, rolling the red beacon, rocking the red beacon. He's just coming up onto Maddie here. So let's see if Maddie's got the pace to pick up. I'm sure Maddie will be messaging Charlie on his way through. So Charlie with Maddie in his sights, and you just see Charlie just rolling up towards Maddie's wheel. Maddie kicking out 4.5 watts per kilo. Maddie, of course, one of our prize winners in the Halo competition. Excuse me. Time for some OT, most definitely. And we are just watching Maddie on her way up here. The leading group just going up on towards the top of the circuit. Maddie looking pretty smooth, and you can see our red beacon just behind Maddie. If we take a look up the hillside, though, you can see just the very back of that main group. So Maddie just chasing onto the wheels of Sharp. So Sharp, the rider just in front. We'll take a quick look at Sharp. And just taking a little bit of a look back, you can just see Maddie on her way here, and looks like Skinner just dropping back a little bit, just kicking the wheels back up again here. So remember guys, quick heads up, 2 watts per kilo comes after 1 before number 3. Primary school stuff, please remember guys, we want you at 2 watts per kilo. Now Maddie's motoring away back on here with Sharpie. They're doing nearly 4 watts per kilo, trying to get themselves back onto the group here. Skinner with them as well. So Skinner's just going to be pushing his way back in. He's currently at 4 watts per kilo here. Now it looks like Jason on his way, just moving his way up. Remember guys, watch the screens, and it's all about following the group through. We're just going to jump in with another group just in front here. So this the group just slightly in front. You can just see the red beacon just about to go round that corner there. Looks like Luke Taylor in here. Mel Blackford is in here. Gail Phillips in with Gail at the moment. Gail having to push slightly more watts per kilo than the average. Just very close to Mr. Taylor and Mr. Womersley as well. Let's just jump in with Jake. Jake here having to push what is going to be, I think, something in the region of about 4 watts per kilo to stay in with the group. We're just going to work our way round about Rust. I think he's not too far away. And this the big group of riders round our yellow beacon. Remember, as we'll show you the 100 riders. We're just in with Pearson at the moment as we start to roll our way in. So Hilbert knows the score. Chris Hilbert just rolling around Rust at the moment. Should be rolling about 2.5 watts per kilo at the most. So we're going to just whiz our way through these groups. You're going to see a huge bunch motoring its way in and through here. Lots of 2s on the way through. Plenty of people just dropping through the group here. Just going to drop in with Sonia Inslee. Sonia, another of our winners in the Halo Wheels competition, and Sonia back on the chain gang once again. So just watching Sonia on her way in and through. Plenty of people getting the snow from the confetti cannon. That we're going to just take a little bit of a drop down to our red beacon. He's our go-to man. Here he is on to 300 meters to go. So plenty of riders just off the back of the main group. You can just see that yellow beacon just up in front. If we draw up to Charlie's head-up view, this is what Charlie's seeing as he looks at his screen. Let's drop his avatar in, and you can just see the yellow beacon just going up onto Constitution Hill. If we go up in front, it's 14 seconds up to Skinner, and this is going to be Skinner here. Looks like Ben from Velo Viewer is in there as well. Let's drop in with Ben. Good to see Ben. I think Ben's just going to do the business here. The back of the main group, let's give you some time checks. So Charlie Babbitt at the moment is 30 seconds down from Ben on Velo Viewer. The back of the main bunch is at 16 to 20 seconds. The very front of the group is sitting well in excess of 46 seconds. Let's name and shame some people up on the front with some silly watts per kilo. So Anthony Swaby, 4.1 watts per kilo. Mr. Hayward, Keith Hayward, you know better than doing 3.2 watts per kilo. Mark Swift, 3.8 watts per kilo. Let's call these out. There's some serious power being shunted up near the very front of this group. Steve Gately, 3.7 watts per kilo. Lorenzo Nadoni, 3.5 watts per kilo. It's the roll call of shame here. My goodness. Might have to do some counting lessons on the chain gang. Bit further back, seeing plenty of sensible watts per kilo. That is for sure. Lots of 2s, 2.5s in there. Looks like everybody has realised you go quicker sitting in the bunch, doing the right numbers. So just in with Ben here as Ben makes his way around now. Remember, as Mark Chambers says, 100 is the maximum that you'll see on screen at any one time from Zwift. The nearest 100 riders geographically in the circuit, and that is key. That's the maximum you're going to see when you're riding. So just because you think you can see the front or the back, you can't. Remember guys, you need to make sure that you keep your eyes open for where the riders are behind it. You can just see here Ben doing a great job. Ben from Velo Viewer here, pulling Skinner with him, and they're going to be catching Hopkinson. Just about to get caught here now. Hopkinson, Bolt, Potts are sitting in about 2.6 watts per kilo here, and we're just going to jump in with Potts now. Here we go, in with Potts. Potts sitting on the wheel there with Bolt, Cootie, Fryer in there as well. You can just see the group behind. This is going to be Ben from Veloviewer in the back. It's Skinner in the blue, and then chasing behind, you can just see, I think it is going to be Dave through there, Dave Hopkinson. So we have a nice group here. They're 13 seconds from the back of the bunch. Maddie Smith at 4 seconds off the back of the bunch. We have Reaney at 5 seconds off the back of the bunch. Mulcher at 8 seconds off the back of the bunch. We've got Lisa Leverton at what is going to be, I suspect, 5 seconds off the back. So remember guys, let's blob it up. We want a nice sticky blob at the front. That's just for you, be scream sharp. And the riders here just working to get themselves back in touch. So you can just see here Ben just pushing on here. Now Charlie Babbitt is our beacon, our red beacon. Looks like he's having a bit of a lonely ride here. Now if the front has disappeared off the front, we'll leave him to it. Remember, we're only going to be calling people from Russ forwards when the go happens, and anybody who's disappeared off the front, we'll just leave them to it. It's quite easy. We'll let them go into the Houses of Parliament. Now let's jump in with Lisa Leverton. Lisa, another of the racers coming on to the chain gang here, riding in the orange of those Zwift colours alongside the Houses of Parliament, the Palace of Westminster. You can see in the background, remember the cells, of course, where the gunpowder was being placed ready to blow the Houses of Parliament up. So this is a nice group here. Looks like Lisa Leverton. It's going to be Mr. Cootie in this group as well. It's Fryer, Skinner in the little group just in front of them. So if we take a little bit of a look up the road, the two riders just up the front are going to be Skinner and Fryer. Ben from Veloviewer is doing a fantastic job here, sweeping people through. Now looks like Alan Parsons has made his way back on again, but a large number of riders behind are not yet on here. So let's see, we've got a large number of riders here. So we've got Leverton, Cootie, Hayward, Bolt, Hopkinson, Holmes, Babbitt, all just off the back here. And looks like Johnny Lightfoot just asking the front to soft tap a little bit. Yeah, as this group are currently working. It looks like Martin Bolt at the moment sitting on the front here is just going to push on now at about 4 watts per kilo here, trying to pull this group back in. Fryer is in front here at 1 second with Skinner, and then Ben from Veloviewer. Then it's going to be Potts. We just start to see the beacon starting to come into sight. Mulcher here, just trying to close that gap. Dan is here. So here we go. Just keeping an eye on the group, 3 seconds in front of Dan Mulcher. This is going to be Harrison here. So Harrison riding along in front of that Crooks. Crooks trying to stay on those wheels here. Oxenham just dropping at the back there, rolling it round, trying to keep everybody together. Oxenham big numbers because he is basically working as a sweeper here, although he doesn't actually say his name. He's been dropping off the back and pulling these riders in again. Looks like Bull in this group as well. So you see Harrison here now just watching Bull. Looks like Hobbs is in with us, so good to see Hobbs in the group here, chasing onto the back of the group, working hard to get in with them. And good to see Harley in action. So Harley Hobbs here, sitting on the wheel of Bull, just trying to close the gap down. Charlie Babbitt on the back. So just keeping an eye. So the last rider is Charlie Babbitt. Then we have Hopkinson at 33 seconds up the road, about a minute behind the main group. You've then got 20 seconds up. You've got the group with Bolt, Fryer, Hayward, Leverton and Cootie. Dan Mulcher then is going to be the next rider up the road. He's rolling around the back of the chasing group of about 6 riders. This is the riders who've just been detached from the main group, and that is going to be Skinner here. So Skinner is on the way with Potts in the orange. Then Ben from Velo Viewer just there in the black as well, just working the way up. Let's see how they're going to get on. Meanwhile, just up the road is Harley Hobbs. So Harley at the moment, just going to see some riders chasing behind. He's going to be able to catch on to the Ben's Velo Viewers group, which is on its way. So Harley Hobbs going to get some company in a moment as the group in front are about to go take the turn. This is the group rolling around the back of the bunch here, and looks to me like Ball is here. Turnbull of MTS just dropping back a little bit, and that's going to be Glenn Turnbull there in the pink. It's very fetching. It matches his underwear actually. It's a little known fact. Don't ask me how I know. Meanwhile, Ball chasing onto the back of Cass. Cass, the back of the main group. If we take a little bit of a look back from Cass here, you can see the back of this main group is rolling around here. Russ keeping this all together. Remember, of course, the riders all need to sit somewhere close to our yellow beacon. You see it on the right hand side. This is Russ riding his way down the straight, nice and smoothly. 100 beats per minute, 96 revs per minute. He's not going to be able to hold that heart rate very shortly. Remember, this lap is meant to be a 2.5 watts per kilo. It's going to be 3.5 next time round. As you can see, those riders are well strung out, and we'll just use I think Russ as our beacon. So let's keep our eyes on Russ as he's moving about here, and as we watch Russ come through at the back of this group, let's give you some time checks. So from Russ to the front of the main pack of riders, it's currently about 7 seconds. If we drop back towards the back of the group, Charlie Babbitt, our red beacon, now sitting at 2 minutes and 8. Looks like George Cooper, the winner of one of our prizes in the Halo Wheels competition, just sat on the back of the group. I hope you're resting your legs, George. You're going to need them, that is for sure. So George is there, and he is in the red and white. So just watching George on his way into the back of the group. Cooper riding for Sherwood Pines, one of the youngsters in the group, looks like just coming along alongside Carl Kapinski. Good to see Carl back on the bike. Going to try and drop in with Carl. Easy said than done. That is for sure. Just with Alan Parsons at the moment. Parsons, another of our winners in the Halo Wheels on the Ridley, of course. And you can see looking really smooth here on 95 revs per minute, at 250 watts. So some really quick riders, looking smooth, looking like it's nice and swift at this section here. We're now working our way up towards the Serpentine. In the moment, Charlie Babbitt sitting at 2 minute 20, back from Alan Parsons, the front of the main group, about 7 seconds at the minute, and we think we may well be doing a little bit of naming and shaming off the front of the group if we're not careful here, I think. So the riders now coming around the turn. They're going to go alongside Harris. They're going to be heading out towards front, and we're just going to jump in with Russ, who is heading his way up towards the very front of the group here. So looks like Russ up on the front here, making sure everybody's getting the message. 2.5 now, which means we can do some naming and shaming from our front position here. anybody going past Russ, you're doing more than 2.5 watts per kilo, because Russ is ticking along. So let's do a little bit of quick names and shames. Who's going to get the first name and shame on the way through? We'll soon find out. So, Mr. Kirkham. Kirkham at the moment, showing us 160 watts, 2 watts per kilo. It's like magically he's dropped that down. Let's have a little bit of a look here. On the front, looks like everybody just backing off. Who's going to get the name of shame here? Mr. Hilbert. Here we go. Chris Hilbert, named and shamed. 2.9 watts per kilo. Deary me, come on, Chris. Don't let me have to tell the Thistle story. Believe me, you don't want it to happen, buddy. Let's take another quick look through here. Just seeing a few. We're not going to pick on people too much as we go over the up on to the climb, and that is for sure. Just with Mark Chamberlain here. Now, this group going to be rolling round Russ. You can see the gap behind. There are hundreds of people on the way back, and that is soon going to show up as our riders start to work their way around. And we'll take a little bit of a look back now that we've moved back through these riders. You can just see, taking a little bit of a look back, there are plenty of people in here. And you can see Andy Bishop nicely nestled in this group. And remember, we need it to stay nicely blobbed up. We're going to drop back across towards the back of the group. We're just going to do a run from back to front before we start running our way in. Looks like we've got Katie Coldclough in with us on the chain gang. Good to see Katie. We've got Ruth Taylor. Good to see Ruth back once again. Ruth in this group now. Ruth is getting quicker and quicker with every single ride. Good to see Ruth sitting in this pack nice and smoothly here. Now remember, our women have to do more watts per kilo than the guys because they are lighter and they have to generate the same amount of power for their profile. And good to see rolling it along nicely here. Alan Ridley's in here. Matt Winston back in once again. Daryl is in as well. Tom Parsons back with us. Looks like Victoria Chavaria. Vic is here from Costa Rica once again, and well done for skiving off the meeting. Sorry, postponing the meeting, Vic. So Vic riding along nice and smooth in that group, and we're just going to jump up into the sky with the camera at the moment. Just take a little bit of a look as our riders roll down here. Let's take a little bit of a look. Mike Vickers is in here. Charlie Babbitt's a little bit further back. Just going to drop into Russ, who's currently about 9 seconds down on this. So Russ currently been sitting in doing the numbers and just dropped at the back. So we'll be taking a little bit of a look up the road. So Russ sitting at the back of the group. You see well over 100 over the top. A few eager beavers up on the front. Charlie Babbitt, the red beacon, sitting at 2 minutes 33 down. So we're going to go from Charlie. So you can see the riders sandwiched in between Liam Callaway, Brooks, Hayward, Hobbs, Leverton, Bolt, Fryer, Cousy, Hopkinson and Nadoni are in the group here. And you can see our red beacon here. Charlie Babbitt just going to pick up Nardoni, who is just in front here. So it looks like Nardoni, Lorenzo just getting some company here. So Lorenzo just having company in the shape of Charlie Babbitt. So it is going to be Nardoni just going alongside Hopkinson here. So Hopkinson, and you can see David Hopkinson in his another change of kit. I know it's David. Tash is always recognisable on his way through. So we're going to take a little look up the road. It looks like Blackford and Corden are in this main group as we roll in now. Russ off the back of this group, and you can see big pack of riders. We are going to jump in with is a certain Mr. Carl Kapinski. Carl is the man, the artist is Carl Kapinski. He had a very bad accident, was laid up in hospital, and now back on the chain gang once again. Great to see Carl back in action, looking super smooth. I'm not surprised he's got a 30-day PR on his way through. That's because he's not been riding so much in the last 30 days. But great to see that Carl Kapinski back on the bike once again and riding super strong. So well done, Carl. Looks like Millie recovered from her time trial. So Millie Skinner on her way through at the moment, riding nice and smoothly. So Millie in with this group, still well clear of Russ. Russ, our main beacon, just sitting a little bit further back, and just watch it populate. There we go. These are the riders that are currently around Russ. So watch Russ on his way through. One big, absolutely chocker pack tonight. So just been taking a little bit of a look right the way through the chain gang here as we come back past Parliament once again, out on to our second lap of the circuit, the Greater London Flat Circuit here. And Russ, our yellow beacon, rolling around at the front with that front group. Remember, guys, you're only going to see 100 riders. That's just how Zwift works. You can't render more. So the key is trying to keep everything nailed together. Don't roll off the front, but keep the group at the back in touch, and that is absolutely key. Now, let's take a little bit of a look as a group works its way nicely up here. We're going to roll back into our red beacon. This is Charlie Babbitt. Charlie's got company back here. and that's going to be in the shape of Hopkinson. So we're going to drop in with Hopkinson here. So Hopkinson and Babbitt on the way up. They are currently 2:36 off the Hobbs and Leverton group. They've got Sharrock's just in front, I think. So Sharrock's at the moment has company, and that is going to be in the shape of Ferren and Wilkinson. They're just closing on to Mulcher. Emma Collier up near this group as well. We're just going to have a look at Mosley on the way down here. We can't drop directly between all these groups, that's quite simply because of the distance. We are over the fold in the map, as the saying goes. We're going to try and jump in with Bolt and Gang, because this is a nice big group here. This is the second really big group on the road. Now this is Martin Bolt in here. I'm going to take a look and just see who else is in here as well. So it looks like Lisa Leverton in this group. So Lisa riding in the orange, and then we're also going to have Harley in the black and the white here. So Harley riding smoothly in this group as well. So we've got going to be Mr. Cootie. We just drop up the road here. Looks like Mr. Riddler out on his own at the moment, and looks like he's been distanced by the main group. We're just going to try and drop our way back through the map and the app, just playing up a little bit, which is what we would expect with such a vast group of riders. So Riddler at the moment just distanced from the front group. In front of him should be Mr. Howis, so he's going to be Howis next. So on his way chasing the group in the front, but absolutely packed out there on the roads of London. It's absolutely heaving with riders, and plenty of people sitting in around the top group, around that yellow beacon at the minute. So just taking a little look, Matlock in this group as well. Trevor Creeham riding strongly at the moment. Albie Jones is up there. Steve Williams, Mr. Gatley, Darren Cooling in the group as well. George Cooper. Looks like Simon Oxenham still riding nicely in the group, just sitting towards the back of that bunch, and Simon definitely has the power to pull himself into the group. Just keeping an eye on Simon, see how he's rolling along on his way down the straight here. Looks like Cole, the rider, just in the front and the back of this group. We just take a little bit of a spin around. So Cole nicely in there. Mr. Ball again holding in this group. Looks like Denton is in here as well. So Russ Denton sat in the back of this pack, just nicely sitting in the back of the group, not wasting any energy. That's what it's all about. It's all about keeping nice and smooth. Don't burn up the energy. Get yourself as aero a bike as possible. Sit in with the group and make sure it rolls along nice and smoothly. Mr. Cooper sitting in the back, and this is a big pack. We think there's 200 plus in the blob. There's over 50 riders been shelled out the back of the group in various groups, but the group is bigger than 100. The blob is 100 on your screen. It is nearer 200 in reality. Just taking a little bit of a check through, and literally can't get to everybody. There's that many people out on course at the moment. So let's jump in with Mr. Mason, Gareth Mason, aka the Fat Cyclist, always one of the riders to watch out for when we're on this circuit. And Gareth was riding strongly on Tuesday in the red and the black. Gareth just holding position in that group. Everybody seems to calm down just a little bit. You can see 100 riders on your screen. It is a 200 rider strong group. Looks like Taylor's sitting there still in this group. Gail Phillips is in here. Ball is in here. Looks like Mr. Cooper is in here, Sam Emma's in here, Vic Chavaria riding in here as well. So Mr. Taylor looks like he's in too. Matt Brennan in the group, Mick Taylor is in here. Looks like Bradley Atkinson holding this group, going to drop in with Bradley. Yep, Bradley's in here as well. So Bradley Atkinson riding nice and strong in the group. It's a huge group, it powers along, it's really simple guys, go with the group, stay in the blob, that's the way to go, super quick around the courses on Zwift. As you can see, Mr. Atkinson, he knows the score. So it's like Muddy Smith comfortably back into this group, just in with Jarvis next. Jarvis riding on the wheel of Victoria Chavaria by the look of it. So this is going to be Jarvis in the main group as well. This is Joe riding on some pretty lightweight wheels here as well. So we're going to have to be putting out a lot of power. Need big, deep aero wheels on this. It's absolutely key. It means you expend less energy on your way through. Ruth Taylor sitting in this group as well. Morgan is in here, looks like Russ Denton just sitting on the back of this pack, taking a little bit of a look back from Russ, and no one in sight. Doesn't mean there's nobody out there, it just means that we can't see them. Remember, of course, the view that we're going to get when we take a look up is the nearest 100 riders. Russ is up near the front of that 100 group from Denton. Denton comes in along, he's got the Serpentine just north of him. He's got Harris alongside him, and at the moment Russ Denton riding nice and smoothly here. 159 beats per minute, 355 watts at that moment in time. Looks like Ellis is in here, and Ellis sitting just in front of Denton. Got Morgan a couple of seconds behind. And this is the gaps. It's just starting to open, and they're going to have to push on here because it's going to be motoring into the underpass. And this is the absolutely critical bit. You can see Denton knows that he's pushing on here. Looks like Charlie Babbitt about 6 minutes back now from the back of the main pack here. And we're going to jump in with Badger here, who is really trying to close the gap here. Going to need some assistance on the way through, so it looks like Swaby and Crichton are going to need to pick the pace up. You can see the gaps are starting to open. We're going to go up on to the climb. Remember, this is a quicker ride through here than we had last time, and we can just start to see the gaps are opening up. We're going to go up overhead, and if we go up with the helicopter at the moment, you can see the back of the group. The gaps are starting to open just in front of Joe's. There's gaps as well. We're going to try and drop in with the riders, get that helicopter view up, and it has to take the drone up into the sky. You can see these are the gaps that we're talking about. Once they go, looks like one or two riders, looks like Rafa's got to close it down. Matty Smith has closed the gap. Jones knows the danger. He's rolling up towards Russ. Looks like Dan Ladle's seen the danger as well. He's moving Holmes. Williams, Mateo doing the same as well. Wallace in this group looking smooth. Now Wallace is in here. Are there any gaps opening behind Wallace? Nothing at the moment. John Hyde is in here. Leitch is in here as well. Russ looking pretty comfortable in this pack. Sam Emsley in the group as well. Sam knows the sky is going to roll around near the main group. Mr. Wallace hung over. That's called carbo loading. It's just very short chain carbohydrates. That's all it is. Just work on that. It's what always used to work for me. So you can see Carl Kabinski still holding into this group. Mr. Watson is in here, but we're now on to this descent down. And as you can see, the gradient here means that our riders really do pick up pace. It's Sam here just using the gradient to get through onto the group. Behind Sam, the gaps opening up. Everybody needs to keep those wheels closed down up onto the back of Rusty's wheel. You want to be sat on Rusty's wheel pretty much all the time. One or two riders going roam, going up through the side, but we're now around the corner. past the Barrier Truck Park basically for all of our London events, just on the side there. We're going to be heading into Trafalgar Square once again, and I can imagine that we're going to have a pretty ferocious sprint if we're going to be going into the sprint once again. It's like Mamat Salamat is back once again. Good to see you, Mamat. Adi Dench in the group, Richie Proven is back once again, Ewan Parry is in again, Matt Gilmore's here, Luke Taylor, Craig Sellen's back for more of the same. So many riders coming back time and time again. Great to see so many people in with the group. Now we're going to jump in with Russ. Now, the question is, who is going to take away green jersey honours this time around? Russ is absolutely nailing it here. Now remember, Wallace has got the current sprint timer through. Russ currently with a 13.27. Just going to keep our eyes open now. Is anybody daring to go for this? There's a few power-ups going in. There's a few bits. So it's like Alan's gone for it. So Alan has gone hard here. That's a dangerous tactic. You're dead right, Gareth. If the go went, I missed it. That is for sure. We're going to take a double check. Russ has indeed gone go, go, go. I certainly did miss the go. If only Russ, I was asleep. I wish. I'm trying to find where the front and the back of the pack is. Always tricky now. Russ has hit the go, go, go button, guys. So if you're listening in and not watching, you need to watch that screen even more carefully than I do. And the go, go, go has gone. Dangerous tactics going hard early for a sprint, because guess what? Russ is saying it again. It's there, go, go, go is on, and Coleman now stringing it out on the front. Thank you very much, Russ, doing it again for me. It's all this soundproofing in here, I couldn't hear it. So Sandy Smith now pushing on near the front. Russen is up there. Russ sitting in this group. Jones moving up. Hanley's moving up here. Kirkham's moving through. It really is a who's who of these riders. Looks like Gibbons is in this pack as well. Gilmore's here. Gilmore just keeping it nice and smooth here in the training piece jersey. Now coaching certainly works. It certainly does, because lots of these riders being coached by the Downing squad. We're going to go and take a little bit of a look up on the front. And looks like Coleman at the moment just drifting off the front there. Going to get closed down here. It's going to be Miller of Fusion. So remember, we are finishing on the mile next time, as Russ says. The distance is ticking on 31.1k at the moment, and looks like Katie Colclough nicely in this group. She could well be our fastest female rider today. Katie with a fantastic pedigree, and definitely likely to be in the running when it comes to that final sprint. Way through. Looks like Woodall is in here, Miller's in here, Hanley's on the go, and looks like Russ is just giving it a little bit of a dig off the front. We're going to try and get up to Russ. Russ has gone up to 7 watts per kilo. I think he thinks the group is a little bit big here. He's going to want to whittle that down, and at the moment he's opened a slight gap here. Now they're actually going to leave him to get on with it. Interesting to see Topping is here now. Topping chasing this down. Topping, remember, was in the sprint off with Joel Turnbull, along with, of course, Scott Thwaites on Tuesday. Scott Thwaites eventually taking victory. Topping was on serious form though. Turnbull is with him as well. So look at this. The second and third place riders from yesterday, from Tuesday, both in this group. Topping and Turnbull both in here. Hutchinson's in the group, Dowtry's in here as well. Looks like Miller from Fusion still making this group. Let's take a little bit of a look back. Looks like a massive group still all together, and we expect this to break up. Remember, we are going to be heading out around as we come in towards the Houses of Parliament. You are going to see these riders come up past Parliament, and that is going to be little bit of a false flat as we come through. It is roller coasting on its way through. One rider just trying to go clear down the Winfield with a 2-second gap. I think at the moment we're going to wait for confirmation as our riders get round the corner here. The time check's just working the way back in. We're just in with topping at the moment, and you can see it looks to me like Winfield just up the road. So just keeping an eye on those riders up the front here. We're just going to see how Winfield's rolling at the moment. That was a hard attack by Winfield. He's got 3 seconds. Thornley now on the front, trying to pull that back. Pinders with him. Sandy Smith's in there. Gibbons is riding really well at the moment. He's not letting them come through now. Let's jump in with Coldclough at the moment. Definitely a rider to watch out for when it comes into the sprint. Katie Coldclough, one of our very fast riders in the group, and somebody who you don't want to mess with when it comes into the finish. Now we're going to see our first female victor overall. Well, Katie's definitely capable of it. Question is, I think this is Katie's first Donnychaingang. Is Katie Coldclough going to be able to hold it into the finish? Interesting to see Matt Winston clearly recovering. He's in this group as well, and looks like Winston definitely capable of keeping this together. However, our lone rider off the front is burning himself out here. It is still Winfield who's gone hard here. Rick van der Gate on the chase. Osman, Kettle, Vickers in that chasing group. This is a big group of riders behind. You can see not showing anybody, and that means that we've got a lot of riders in this group. Let's try and get you some time checks back from this. Our leading the group of riders who are on the way down the road. So our leading group of riders are now 22 seconds clear of the chasing group. We're going to drop back to group 2 at the moment, and it's going to be in with Darrell at the moment. So this is I think our second group out on the road, the leading group just up the road, and this looks like it has got Craig Sellen in here. It looks like Dave Fulton in here. Billy No-Mate's in this group as well. Mel Blackford's in here. Mel's in this group. So let's take a little bit of a look up in the and this is the second group on the road, and they are at 30 seconds to the leading group. So 30 seconds to the leading group to group number 2. This is group 2 on the road behind group number 2. Our chasing group behind them are currently sitting at 3 seconds behind them. Here they come. They're in danger of pulling that back together again. So the group you can see is group 2. This is group number 3 on the course. They're going to make contact with group 2 here. So Radcliffe and Evans coming up, Smith, and this is group 3 becoming group number 2. Great riding by that group. That's now a much bigger pack here. Warner's in here, Dowtry's in here, Corden, Billy No-Mate's in here. Radcliffe, they've got to keep on pushing. Rusk's sending out an SOS. He can send out SOS all he wants. We never believe him. It still looks like it's 2 seconds up to Winfield from the main group. Certainly looks to me like they're just making contact now. Going through, it's going to be Coleman here. So it's Coleman who's gone on the offensive for the Arctic squad. Now, group number 2 is a big pack now. It could be coming after them. Mr. Winfield, I'm not surprised your legs hurt after that big effort on the way through. Remember, we're now leaving the river behind. It is still wet though as the rain comes down. And Winfield has gone now. It is going to be Coleman who is on the front here. So Coleman trying to stay clear. Daniel Coleman from Arctic Aircon. He's got Chase behind. It looks like Topping leading that chase as well. As Gareth Mason in there as well. As Pinder, Turnbull's in there. Allen is in there. Gilmore, Davis, Bishop, Miller. It's a big pack and they're closing it down. 2 more seconds. Still sat in there. It's 2 seconds. If you take a look at the map at the top, you can see as we're going up into that 2% gradient at the moment, that gap is starting to come down now. So Bishop, Downing, Miller closing down on Coleman. So Sean Burke in with this group. Burke looking good at the moment. And Burke we're riding with at the minute. So Burke sitting here on a lightweight bike on his way up. Must not fancy the uphill sections. Thinks he's got the power on the downhill. Kirkham now moving up towards the front. Miller is up near the front as well. Looks like Russ has gone onto the front once again. Let's jump in with Russ. Russ just putting the squeeze on here. So you can see behind, it looks like it's Winfield again who's closing him down. Is this a revenge move, or is he coming across to Russ to give him a toe up here? So Winfield it is who's pulled Russ back here. So Dan Winfield along with Russ Downing have all come back again now. I think the Group 2 and Group 3 are looking like they are coming back together on the screens. They are. We'll try and get you some time checks as we follow Russ around these turns. Remember, we're going to be heading up towards the underpass very shortly. But at the moment, this is looking good for Group number 1. So Group number 1, big pack of riders, currently numbering something in the region of about 60 riders are clear. They have what is 18 seconds on Tom Parsons, who has been distanced from this group. So Tom is currently at 18 seconds. You can see that group riding off into the distance. He is currently 29 seconds clear of Hargraves. And then behind, we've got Radcliffe. Radcliffe distanced from that main pack as well. And then we have a big bunch of riders. And this is pack number 2. So this is Group 2. Now, where are Group number 3? Group number 3 are at 12 seconds. And the 12 second back group is a huge group, down to 10 seconds now. So it looks like Chris Hilbert is doing some of the towing behind this. This is Group 3 here. So Group 1 is up the road. There are riders dotted in between there and Group 2. This is Group 3, and look at the size of this pack here. This is Group number 3. They are going to be closing on Group 2. They're going to see them in front very, very shortly. There they are, just round the corner. We're just going to drop in. We're just riding with Chris Hilbert here from Sherwood Pines. Now, this means that Groups 2 and 3 are going to composite together. When that happens, they are going to become really, really hard to contend with. It is going to be a really big group, this. So let's get up in the sky. We're going to have to drop away from the helicopter here, and that's quite simply because it is just absolutely rubbish weather. So here we go, Group 2 and Group 3 coming together. This is going to be a huge pack. If they can hold it together, they could push on, but I think they're not going to get up to our leaders. Now, as we keep on going, we're going to drop in with our leaders. Our leaders are at 1 minute 38 up the road. Let's jump in with Russ. Russ is leading them on the climb here. They've gone through the underpass, and looks to be like they've not shed too many people here. So just up off halfway up the climb here of the underpass. Nobody has gone. So behind us, some big groups. Russ kicking on to stay in with this group. Who is going to put the squeeze on now? Who's going to try and go clear as Russ moves his way up onto the front? 8.5, 9.5 watts per kilo. And you can see behind it looks like Ryan Williams is able to stay with Russ. Russ is thinning this group out. Matt, not going backwards here. Mason is responding to this. He's seen the danger. Looks like James Allen is on his way now. Here comes Allen. Allen is pushing on here. He's got that draft in effect. He knows what to do. He's got the right wheels in. He's got the fastest set of wheels on the game at the moment. He's got a very aero frame as well in that canyon. He's closed down Ryan Williams here, and he's got that draft. So he's going to be saving effort on this big downhill section, but they're going to take the left-hand turn. Winfield back on the front. It's an absolute beast, is Winfield. Every time he comes to the front, the pace goes up, and look at the damage behind it. He has strung this out. He's absolutely nailed it, and it is breaking that group of what was 60 riders down, but we still have 25 to 30 riders with a chance of being in contention here. Who's your money on as they come in? Who has got something left in the legs? Will it be Russ's night tonight here? Has he got anything to give. We're going to soon find out. I think we're going to be into the turns very, very quickly. This is one big pack. So who is your money on as we go into the sprint here? Will it be with Ryan Williams? Will it be on Brett Dowtrey? Will it be Joe Turnbull? It's going to be very, very quick as they come in. Everybody's nailing it at the moment. We are going to jump in with Mr. Mason this time, given the curse of death and the commentator's curse. Because I'm hoping, Mr. Mason, if you listen, you need to sprint, mate, because we're in with you. They're going to ride in. Who's going to take it on from the front? Here we go. This is the run in for the finish. The gantry is up in front. You can hardly see it. 300 metres to go here. And already the kick has started. And Russ has gone early here. Everybody's engaging, but have they gone at the right time? Now goes the cyclist Mason in the black and red here. Has he got the timing right? He's going to head this as they hit 100 metres. Has he got enough in the tank here to lead them through? He does. It is a Mason who takes it with a 10.2. So Mason takes victory on his way through that sprint. A fantastic sprint from these riders. This is a massive group. You can see all of those 30-day PBs as they come in and through. Now we're going to go across behind because all these riders are in, and we're going to try and get back into our next groups who are on the way to the line. Much easier said than done, it has to be said out there. This is our next big group on the way in. Now, who is going to take it out of this little lot? We've got Tom Parsons in here. We know Tom can sprint. Craig Sallin is in here. Would you bet against Sallin in this run in for the line? This is going to be a big group to call in home. So this is our next big group. There have been ones and twos in between. I just can't call everybody now. Aidy Dench is in here. Clark is in here. Mel Blackford is in here. And looks like Richards is in as well. The sprint is starting. Who is it going to be? Who's going to take this out as they go in towards the line? You can see absolutely everybody's going for it. Johnny Two Dogs is going to be close here as they go in and through the line there. It looks to me like it's going to be Rich Dobson who's going to take that with Billy No Mates right in attendance. Fantastic stuff, guys. If they come in, Brennan in that group as well. Our fastest woman was Katie Cole-Clough. That has been confirmed. Next group on the way in here. Watching Hepton at the moment. He's got Catley with him. And then through they go. So Ambrose goes in and through. Some fantastic riding from our riders as they come in, absolutely nailing it on the way through here. So brilliant stuff by our riders coming in through the finish here. Great to see so many people doing the business here as our riders come in and through on the chain gang. Absolutely rider after rider nailing it through the line here. We're going to try and jump back in with Donahue. I think Donahue's going to get this next group in and through. Donahue coming through just in front of Colin Belbeefy from Cycle Waste. Trevor Crehan in this group. Holmes in there. Sharp in here. Coulson in here as well. We're just going to try and drop back from this group as well. Rick King coming through. Looks like Mamat's just in with that group as well. Now let's see who is just up the road. I think Gately is up the road. We've got a big group in front. The question is, have they got in to the line? Maddie Smith on her way in here. And this is our next group heading in towards the line here. Looks like we're in with Lappin at the moment. Dan Ladle in here. Riddler is in this group as well. Into the final sprint here. We're in with Lappin as they come in. Big sprint coming up. Who's going to be able to push it all the way into line? Looks like Flanders. Fraser's going to get it. Fraser's going to get this. It is Fraser who comes through. 10 putting in a fantastic ride. Slatter, Jones, Wallace in there as well. Next to is Riddler. Just keeping an eye. It's going to be Mateo Rogers who comes in next. It is Rogers who comes through in front of Williams and Davenport. Maddie Smith in with that group. Holmes going in and through at the head of affairs in front of Atkinson, Riddler, Bolton coming through, and Rini. It's going to be Carl Kapinski, our next rider in and under the gantry, and I think behind we might have a little bit of a gap back from Carl. I think it is going to be, let's take a little bit of a check on these riders. As you can see, it jumps a lot for us at the moment. That is just simply because of the pace of the riders coming in and through the line. So we are going to just keep an eye on this group. We've just got a little bit rogue. So just watching our riders go through. We may well have to just do a little bit of a jump back. By other means, apologies if we're going to be missing you on the way through. Just going to jump in with Nick Pratt here and hope that Nick is on his way into the line. So in with Pratt here, just in time here, and just watching Crichton kicking this in. Cooling's in this group as well. Cooling's on the front. Crichton's trying to close him down. Who's going to get this? It looks to me like it is going to be Cooling gets this, then Crichton in second place, then Pratt behind, then it's going to be Cannonball, then it's going to be Ruth Taylor, then Victoria Chabaria and Swaby Finch Rudham going to come in through, just going to drop in, so Vic Chabaria in with Ruth Taylor. Looks like Rukin and Finch on the way through. We're going to just take a look. I think Hayward in the next group of riders on the climb in. I think John Garfer is just in front. Jarvis, Ensley, Orm in there. Ambler's in there. So it looks like Ellis on to the straight, and it could well be that Ellis's group is our next group in. So Ambler, Ellis and Denton are the next group. We're going to see who is going to take this 3-up sprint here. So on the front with the orange frame there, that is Ambler. Ellis with the grey strip in the black, just rolling around on the blue and white bike comes Denton. So Denton, Ellis and Ambler, these are the riders in order at the moment. Ambler sitting on the back of this group. Has he got the kick to go past them? He's just squeezing on the pedals here. Has he left it too late? 100 metres to go. Are they going to contest this? It's going to be closer, almost going to go over side by side here. Denton is just going to edge this, so it's Denton goes through, then Ellis, then Ambler. So those are our riders in and through. We're just going to try and drop back to the next riders. I think Colt Orm is going to be just on the course behind Stu Coates. So Stu Coates coming through. So well done to Stu. Stu comes through just in front of Colt Orm. So calling our next rider in now. Just going to take a little check back. I think it's going to be Sonia Inslee, one of our Halo winners. So Sonia now on the way in underneath the gantry, comes through just clear of John Garfoot here. Garfoot coming through ahead of Joe Jarvis. Joe, great ride there coming through the banner now behind. I think it's going to be Cookie just coming in and through the gantry. So Sarah Grimshaw coming through just in front of Hayward. These two have a real battle every week. So Cookie and Hayward going through. Next up, we're going to keep our eyes open. It's going to be Harley Hobbs and Brooks here. I think Brooks is going to just take this. Brooks goes through. And it's going to be Harley Hobbs behind Hobbs. You can see the 3 riders chasing. That is going to be Potts, Zoltar and Morgan. Behind them then I think Fryer just coming in and through the line ahead of Lisa Leverton. So Leverton, our next rider in and through the line behind Leverton. It's going to be Ferren leading in Mulcher. So Dan Mulcher sprinting with Ferren, Mosley and Wilkinson. So it is going to be Ferren, Mulcher, Mosley and Wilkinson in that order. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a look up. I think we have a little bit of a gap back up from Wilkinson, who's at the back of this group, to our next rider, and I think that is going to be Martin Bolt. So Bolt riding well at the moment on his way in towards the finish. The fireworks going off for our riders on the way in here. So whilst our riders make their way in, don't forget guys, if you enjoyed the coverage, make sure you tell your friends about it. The links are there. We don't charge anything to watch or anything to ride. What we do say is if you've got a bit of cash spare, then it's a difficult time. We appreciate that, but if you've got a little bit, help us keep making the Donny Chain Gang something special. The numbers are growing. It means we've got a little bit more management to do, we've got a little bit more admin to do. That's all taking time, and we want to make sure we can keep on bringing you all of the action without fail. So please, guys, make sure you get onto the donate button, click it in, even if it's just the cost of a price of a coffee. As you know, we love our coffee here. I've got to say a massive thank you to Grand Tour Coffee, to Big Ben Jenko. We've got to say a big thank you to Halo Wheels for all of the Halloween prizes. A big thank you to Peter Lorella for keeping Russ rolling out there. To OTE, who keeps myself and Russ and all the gang from Downcycling refueled. A big thank you to Wahoo Turbo Traders, of course, underneath Russ, Dean, and myself and Matt Payne. Big thank you to HMT Hospitals, and of course we should be heading to New York Cycling. Fingers crossed, we're going to have to just try and stay with that and hope that happens. We're going to be watching Martin Bolt, our long-time Red Beacon, and a big thank you to everybody who has been out there being Beacon. Don't forget you can volunteer for the duties, just get a message up onto the thread on Facebook. Gail's been stitching all that together, and we'll say a massive thank you to Gail. So we're going to jump back into the road. Remember, guys, support the people who support your sport, people like Halo Wheels who are giving away the prizes. We're going to jump in here with Martin as Martin makes his way into those last 200 metres. So here we go alongside Martin Bolt now. Bolt on his way in towards the line. He's going to come through as it gets dark here on Bonfire Night. Fantastic riding by Martin, and Martin just started to coast down. Great riding to come through. A couple of K of warm down for him, which means that we can go across to our next rider, which we think should well be the groups behind should be Mr. Hopkinson. So here we are, looks like Dave Hopkinson, and just behind there is Emma Collier and Charlie Babbitt on the way in towards the line. And it's about to hit the downhill section. So don't forget you can watch all of the coverage back. We have got a fantastic week coming up. We're going to be heading over to Flanders Fields for what will be the Memorial Week, the Remembrance Week, and of course we are going to be bringing you action. We're not going to tell you where those courses are yet, but watch out for the action coming from the Flanders, from France. We'll let you work out where we're going to be heading for the two rides next week. Definitely going to be France, definitely going to be Flanders, but the question is, what are the courses going to be? Well, I know, and Russ knows, but we're going to let you have a little bit of speculation time to work out exactly where we're going to be heading as our riders come around the corner here. Emma Collier along with Charlie Babbitt making his way in. Fantastic, good to see the guys that are doing the business on the Red Beacon. These two riders still trying to chase Hopkinson in front. Hopkinson's on him at 3 seconds. Emma Collier at the moment just taking a drink, just dropping off the wheel. He needs to close that gap back down again. Charlie Babbitt, our Red Beacon, doing a very diligent job here, pacing our last riders in. So our helicopter just up overhead as we start to head down in towards Trafalgar Square. You can see in front Mr. Hopkinson just about to make his way in. Nelson's column with, of course, the squirrel on top here. Up in front and just off to the side as our two riders make their way around. They're going to be chasing Hopkinson, who's now extended his lead to 5 seconds. The National Art Gallery just in the background, but here go our two riders are going to be trying to close down Hopkinson. Have they got the pace to do so? Let's take a little bit of a look up the road. Looks like Hopkinson continuing to push on here. So Hopkinson at 2.5 watts, 2.6 watts per kilo. It looks like Charlie Babbitt, our Red Beacon, is trying to close that gap down. Now Hopkinson's at 300 metres to go. You can see the beacon behind. I think they're not going to get this gap back. So Hopkinson on his way in to the finish. He hits 200 metres to go, the green sign for the sprint. 100 metres, it's going to be Hopkinson, our next rider, coming in to the finish here at the Greater London Flat Course on the Downing Cycling DONNYCHAINGANG. Through goes Hopkinson now. Is it going to be Babbitt or is it going to be Collier? Looks like Babbitt and Collier going to be through pretty much together here, with Babbitt leading the way from Collier. So our last two riders are in and through. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's ridden today, everybody who was sitting in with the beacon following the rules. Don't forget that we have got lots of action to come over the winter. We're going to be trying to bring in all of the action from the Downing Cycling DONNYCHAINGANG. Remember, lots more improvements to come. Don't forget, make sure you get those settings up. We've got this coming out in full HD for you. That's all due to the donations and all of the work that you guys have done in supporting us so far. From Russ, Downing, the bear himself, from myself, Matt Payne, and everybody at Downing Cycling, thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Tuesday in France.